I am 73 years old. I have watched 5 decades disappear in the rearview mirror, and I know something about time that you, especially if you are younger, fundamentally misunderstand.
We think time is infinite until it suddenly, brutally reveals itself as finite. It took me 52 years of trial, error, loss, and small victories to consolidate the essential truths of a well-lived life.
The wisdom I acquired did not come from a book or a quick seminar. It came from regret, the quiet, persistent architect of change.
And the cost of that education, 52 years, a price too high for anyone to pay twice.
This is not motivational fluff. This is the condensed operating manual for maximizing your presence and mitigating the sting of what if.
I have broken down these 5 pillars, lessons that form the bedrock of enduring fulfillment, into actionable principles.
Pay close attention, because the single most valuable resource you possess is not capital, connections, or talent.
It is the remaining fraction of your unspent time.
If you internalize these lessons today, you skip the 52-year wait. You gain the clarity of a lifetime.
Let us begin this crucial examination. Disclaimer: this analysis is based on accumulated experiential wisdom and philosophical observation. It is intended for self-reflection and personal growth, not as professional advice.
Your journey is unique, but the navigational errors remain universal. The first great lesson, the one that unlocks everything else, is the necessity of the strategic retreat.
We live in a state of continuous action. We confuse motion with progress. The noise of obligation and distraction prevents us from hearing the subtle signal of our own lives.
For years, I believed productivity meant filling every minute. This is a myth perpetuated by the hurried, not the successful.
The strategic retreat is mandatory solitude. It is the scheduled, sacred time you dedicate purely to metacognition, thinking about how you are thinking. You must step out of the arena to gain perspective on the battle. This might be 30 minutes every morning or a full day every quarter.
When do you realize you are climbing the wrong ladder? Only when you lean it against the wall and step back to look up.
I wasted a decade chasing ambitions that were not my own, goals inherited from societal pressure or parental expectation.
The clarity gained in silence is the only antidote to the confusion of busyness. If you do not plan your life, someone else will plan it for you.
During your retreat, ask difficult questions. What am I tolerating that must stop? What am I optimizing that does not matter? The greatest enemy of quality reflection is the instant fix, the impulse to immediately grab the phone or distract yourself.
Force yourself to sit in the discomfort of stillness until the truth emerges. It will be inconvenient. It will be necessary.
This practice transforms reactive living into intentional design. It makes you the architect, not the accidental tenant of your own reality.
Lesson 2 is perhaps the most painful in retrospect, the compound interest of small decisions.
We overestimate the effect of grand, sweeping gestures and drastically underestimate the power of consistent, micro-choices.
Regret is not built from one catastrophic failure. It is constructed, brick by slow brick, from the accumulation of negligible neglects.
The extra 5 minutes of scrolling every night, the meal you knew you shouldn't eat, the honest conversation you perpetually postponed.
These seemingly insignificant decisions, repeated daily, do not add up linearly. They compound exponentially. At 25, skipping the gym seems minor. At 55, it is a chronic illness. At 75, it's dependency. The anti-regret formula is simple. Focus on the 1% improvement today that makes tomorrow marginally easier. Do you want to write a book? Write 1 paragraph. Do you want financial security? Track $1. Do not seek perfection. Seek consistency. Consistency is the true catalyst of transformation.
The future you is built entirely by the small sacrifices the present you makes. Small acts of discipline create momentum. Momentum creates massive shifts. I only wish I had recognized the true gravity of micro-decisions sooner.
This principle requires patience, which is often the most underdeveloped muscle in the young mind.
Lesson 3 is about timeline distortion, the illusion of someday.
When we are young, we see our lives as an endless, sprawling horizon. We mentally categorize tasks into now and the vast, unthreatening bucket of someday. Someday is the most dangerous word in the lexicon of potential. It is where dreams go to die a slow, comfortable death. The lie we tell ourselves is that we will be better, wiser, or more prepared then. But the future is simply a collection of nows that you continually deferred.
I postponed travel, learning new skills, and crucial confrontations, believing I would have more bandwidth later.
The truth I learned too late. Later does not mean easier. It often means harder, because time adds baggage, not clarity.
The energy, elasticity, and sheer volume of time available to you now will never be replicated.
If a goal is important, the window for effortless execution is shrinking by the hour.
The only antidote to the someday illusion is the present tense imperative. If it matters, it must be scheduled now.
Commit to starting, not finishing. The paralysis of someday is often caused by the enormity of the final goal. Focus on the first step, the minimum viable action. Defeat the inertia of postponement.
The goal is to eliminate regret entirely from your future vocabulary, and regret is overwhelmingly the product of inaction, not mistake.
Act now while your time, health, and energy are still abundant.
Lesson 4 shifts the focus from time to value. Wealth is relational, not just financial. I spent much of my peak earning years pursuing a net worth benchmark defined by external metrics.
I achieved the financial targets, but found the summit was cold. The trophies and balances offered no warmth in solitude.
The true currency of life is the quality of your connections. Your social capital is the most powerful shield against misfortune. I missed birthdays, anniversaries, and casual moments, believing my presence was less valuable than the paycheck I was earning. The time you spend earning is quantifiable. The time you spend being present, being supportive, is priceless and non-refundable. You can always make more money. You can never reclaim a missed moment with someone you love.
The second half of your life is defined by the depth of your legacy, and legacy is built through relational generosity, not capital accumulation.
Prioritize genuine presence over performative success. Listen fully. Apologize quickly. Offer encouragement freely. When the inevitable crises come, it is the strength of your relational network that keeps you afloat, not the size of your portfolio.
Lesson 5 is the final essential key to peace, the art of letting go.
For too long, I clung to control. Control over outcomes, control over other people's perceptions, control over the unpredictable chaos of existence. The universe does not negotiate. Life's turbulence will always exceed your ability to micromanage it. This desperate need for control is rooted in ego, and ego is the source of all unnecessary suffering. The vast majority of stress you experience is fueled by fighting battles that have already been decided, or trying to manage variables outside your sphere of influence. Learn to distinguish between what you can influence, your effort, your character, your response, and what you cannot, the past, others' opinions, the future market.
The art of letting go is the practice of intentional surrender. It is recognizing that freedom is found not in victory, but in acceptance.
Surrender the need to be right. Surrender the resentment over old wounds. Surrender the fictional perfect future you constructed in your head. This is difficult. It means accepting your flaws, accepting the messiness of others, and accepting that loss is integral to existence. But when you let go of the rope,
You finally stop the burning. You free up the vast energy previously dedicated to resistance. This acceptance is not apathy, it is the highest form of strategic peace. It allows you to invest your remaining energy only where it counts, in the present moment.
I look back at the 52 years of effort. The lessons are clear, but their implementation requires fierce consistency. The strategic retreat ensures clarity. The compound interest approach ensures steady progress.
Defeating the illusion of someday ensures action. Prioritizing relational wealth ensures depth. And finally, the art of letting go ensures tranquility. Together, they form the foundation of a life without critical regret. Do not waste your time chasing someone else's definition of success. Success, in old age, is simply defined by how much time you spent doing what truly mattered to you. Start today. Schedule your strategic retreat. Identify one small decision to optimize.
Take one someday task and move it to now. Call one person who needs to hear from you. Release one thing you can't change.
The greatest tragedy is not failure, but standing at the end of your road realizing you ran hard, but in the wrong direction. Your time is the only asset that truly depreciates to zero. Protect it fiercely. And embrace the present, because it is the only certainty you will ever possess.
Thank you for listening.
I'm 73. It took me 52 years to learn this. Don't waste yours.
Let us elaborate further on the destructive nature of the someday mindset.
It's not just about procrastination. It's about a fundamental error in risk assessment. We treat future opportunities as guaranteed, failing to account for the entropy of life. Health fades, people move away, markets collapse. The conditions that make a task feasible today may be gone tomorrow.
The biggest missed investments I have seen, both financial and emotional, were not due to fear, but due to waiting for the perfect moment.
There is no perfect moment. There is only now, which is inherently imperfect, yet fully accessible. To conquer someday, assign a financial cost to delay. What is the value of the clarity you lack? What is the cost of the relationship stress you avoid addressing? The numbers are usually staggering. Now, returning to the strategic retreat, it requires a strict no-tools policy. No laptop, no news feed, no music designed to manipulate your mood. Just a journal and raw, unfiltered thought. This is where you detoxify your priorities. This is where you find the 1 or 2 critical levers to pull, instead of trying to push 1,000 minor buttons. Remember, strategic inaction is more valuable than mindless activity. On the compound interest of small decisions, understand this: your identity is the sum of your habits. You are not defined by your aspirations. You are defined by what you repeatedly do when nobody is watching. To change your life, do not chase a new identity. Simply implement a new, high-leverage habit.
Make the disciplined choice the default choice. Engineer your environment to support the person you want to become.
Moving to relational wealth, recognize the difference between connection and transactional networking. The former is about what you can gain. The latter is about what you can give without expectation. True friendship is a reciprocal sanctuary. Cultivate it actively. Invest time as if it were highly volatile capital.
And on letting go, the need for external validation is a trap that keeps you eternally young, and not in a good way. Seeking approval handcuffs you to the whims of others. True self-worth is internally validated and immovable.
Release the fear of being misunderstood. Release the pressure to perform for an audience that doesn't truly care. Live your life for an audience of one, your 73-year-old self who will be evaluating your choices. The clock is ticking. You are not owed a sequel. This is your life's single, uncompromising run.
Implement the strategic retreat to define your true north.
Leverage compound decisions for unstoppable growth. Annihilate someday with decisive action today. Invest in people, the only asset that yields joy in your final years.
And find peace in the unwavering act of letting go of what you cannot possibly control.
This wisdom cost me 52 years, but if you take it seriously, you receive it as a gift. Your journey to minimize regret begins now, in the next disciplined action you take. Do not seek motivation, seek structure. Structure produces discipline, and discipline produces freedom.
Thank you for sharing your time. Spend it well.
End of main analysis.
Further reflection. Why is stillness so critical to your decision-making?
Because it's the only environment where your subconscious mind, which holds your deepest truths, can finally surface its data.
Ignore the noise. Embrace the silence. Design your life deliberately.
If you are ready to implement these 5 lessons, commit to one immediate action point in the next 60 minutes. The time for someday is officially over.